All right, let's dive into some NBA action from last night. 4 games, and, well, they really got me thinking about what it takes to be a contender in this league.
Yeah.
We saw the Miami Heat. They just shut down the Portland Trail Blazers. Then the Memphis Grizzlies and the Minnesota Timberwolves. Man, that was a close one.
Oh, yeah.
And how about the Detroit Pistons taking it to the Toronto Raptors?
Definitely not what I expected.
And then the Phoenix Suns taking care of business against the Utah Jazz. So we've got close calls, some surprising stats, and I think some real insights here into what separates the contenders from the pretenders.
I think you're spot on there. Last night was it was like a master class in different ways to win and maybe even more interestingly, different ways to almost win but still come up short.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
So should we break it down?
Absolutely, let's do it. Okay, first up, the Heat. They absolutely dominated the Trailblazers, 119-98, a 21-point blowout. Tyler Herro was on fire, 32 points for the Heat. I mean, was Portland even playing?
Well, Anthony Simons for Portland had a decent night, 28 points. But you got to give it to the Heat's defense. It was just suffocating. They forced 16 turnovers, racked up 13 steals.
13 steals, wow.
Yeah, almost a steal a minute. It wasn't just impressive, it completely threw Portland off their game. That aggressive style, that could be their ticket to the playoffs.
But can they keep that up,
Yeah.
against the really tough teams?
Right, exactly. It's one thing to shut down a team like Portland that's known to be a little inconsistent with their shooting, but can they maintain that intensity against, say, the Bucks or the Celtics? That's the big question.
That is the question. All right, let's move on to that Grizzlies-Timberwolves game. Man, 127-125. Grizzlies barely pulled out the win. I was on the edge of my seat the whole time.
Oh, me too. It was a nail-biter. Back and forth, incredible shots on both sides. It was one of those games that reminds you why we love the sport.
Yeah.
Ja Morant, he was clutch, no doubt about it, sinking that game-winning shot. But, it makes you wonder, can a team really build a whole season around moments like that?
It's exciting to watch, but is it a sustainable strategy?
Exactly. And let's not forget about Anthony Edwards for the Timberwolves. He had some incredible plays, just barely missed a few that could have, swung the game the other way.
Oh, for sure.
Which, brings up a good point. Sometimes it's not just about talent, it's about having the right talent at the right moment.
It's all about those what-if moments, right? And speaking of which, I got to ask about this stat that really surprised me. The Timberwolves actually had a higher field goal percentage than the Grizzlies, but still lost.
Yeah.
How is that even possible?
That's where the details really come into play. Turnovers and free throws, those were the difference makers. The Timberwolves, they gave up the ball 18 times, which led to easy points for the Grizzlies.
Yeah, makes sense.
And even though they shot well overall, they struggled at the free throw line, only hitting 74%. Those missed opportunities, they really add up, especially in a close game.
It's a good reminder that every possession matters. Okay, let's talk about the Pistons and their win over the Raptors, 123-114. I'll be honest, I did not see that one coming. Did you?
Well, the scoreline, it wasn't as close as that Grizzlies game, but there was one moment that got everyone talking. Did you see Cade Cunningham's triple-double?
You mean 22 points, 17 assists, and 10 rebounds? Yeah, that was something special. What do you think? Just a flash in the pan, or is this a sign of things to come?
Cunningham, he's got serious talent, no doubt. And this game showed us a glimpse of what he can do. But, and this is a big but, can he do that consistently? That's the question.
Right.
And it's not just about him. The Pistons, their whole offense was clicking. They shot 58% from three-point range. Can they keep that up? We'll have to see. But got to be impressed with their balance, Tim Hardaway Jr. led in scoring. Tobias Harris was right there with him. Then you factor in Cunningham's all-around play. It wasn't just one guy having a hot night. It was a team effort.
So are the Pistons suddenly contenders? I mean, they beat the Raptors. That's not easy.
Whoa, hold on. It's too early to say that. This win puts them on the map for sure. But the question is, can they turn this into a winning streak? Can they keep up this level of offensive efficiency and teamwork? The rest of the season will tell.
All right, last but not least, the Suns over the Jazz, 114-106. A solid win, but not a blowout. Devin Booker led the Suns with 34 points.
But, and this is where things get interesting, the Jazz actually out-rebounded the Suns by a lot, 50-38. You'd think that would lead to more points.
Yeah, you'd think so.
Yeah.
So what happened? How do you dominate the boards like that and still lose?
That's the mystery, right? The Jazz, they had a really rough night from three-point range, only hit 21%. They're usually much better than that, so is this just an off night, or is there something more going on? We'll see how they bounce back in their next game.
Okay, so let me get this straight. We have a team known for their defense winning big, another team living and dying by clutch plays, a team with a young star having a breakout performance, and then a team dominating the boards but just can't hit their shots. What a night of basketball. What stands out the most to you?
For me, it's that contrast between the Heat and the Grizzlies. The Heat, they've got this clear identity built on that suffocating defense. But the Grizzlies, they seem to be all about those big moments. Both approaches can work, but which one is more sustainable in the long run? That's the question that keeps coming back to me.
Yeah, it's like two totally different ways to play, right? The Heat, slow and steady, and the Grizzlies, all flash and excitement. But what about the Pistons and the Suns? They both got solid wins, but I don't know, do you see them as real contenders?
That's the question, isn't it? The Pistons, their win was definitely fun to watch, especially with Cunningham. But can they play at that level all the time? They're young, they're still figuring things out.
So are you saying they need to prove they can win without, just relying on Cunningham to have those huge moments?
Yeah, pretty much. They need to show that their balanced scoring, that wasn't just a one-time thing. And let's be real, the Raptors haven't been that great this season. Beating them is good, but it doesn't automatically mean you're a top team.
Fair enough. Okay, what about the Suns? They handled the Jazz pretty well, but I'm still stuck on that rebounding difference. It just seems strange.
I know what you mean. Out-rebounding a team by that much and still only winning by a little, that's a bit of a warning sign.
Like what? What does it mean?
It could mean they have some problems with their interior defense, which is not good if you're facing a team with really strong big men.
So, moving forward, what should we watch for with the Suns? Are they a threat, or are they just pretending?
Watch how they deal with that rebounding issue. Do they change anything about their defense? Do they try to bring in a player who's more physical down low? Their playoff chances could depend on it.
Interesting. Okay, so we've talked about the Heat's defense, the Grizzlies' clutch plays, the Pistons' balance, and the Suns' rebounding problems. But if we're really talking about contenders, what about the teams that lost? Can any of them turn things around?
Well, let's start with the Trailblazers. They just didn't look good last night. Simon scored some points, but the rest of the team seemed out of sync. They really rely on their three-pointers, and when those aren't falling, they struggle.
So they're a one-trick pony.
Kind of, yeah. They need to find different ways to score if they want to be competitive against the best teams in the West.
Okay, what about the Timberwolves? They almost beat the Grizzlies, remember? Do you think they have a chance to make the playoffs?
They have the talent, for sure, but they need to learn how to finish games. Those missed free throws, the turnovers late in the game, those were costly.
So they need more discipline. It's like they have everything they need, but just don't know how to use it yet.
That's a good way to put it. Potential is there, but they need that killer instinct, that ability to execute when it matters most.
Let's go back to something you said earlier about team identity. You talked about the Heat having that strong defensive identity. Do all winning teams need that kind of focus?
It definitely makes a difference. When everyone knows their role, when they buy into the system, it brings them together. Look at the Spurs, back when they were a dynasty. Their success, it was all about teamwork, discipline, defense.
So it's not just star players. It's about having a system, a philosophy that everyone believes in.
Exactly. And it's about players who are willing to put the team first, even if it means they don't get all the glory. Look at the Warriors when they were winning championships. They had superstars, yeah, but they also had guys like Draymond Green who did all the little things, the things that don't always show up in the stats.
It's about the right mix of talent, personalities, and coaching. It's almost like alchemy, isn't it? Trying to mix the right ingredients to make something special.
That's a perfect analogy. And just like alchemy, it's not an exact science. There's always some luck involved,
Yeah.
Sometimes things just come together at the perfect time.
Speaking of things coming together, I got to ask, who from last night's games are you most excited to watch next?
Ooh, that's a tough one. There were so many good performances, but if I had to pick, I'd say Cade Cunningham. That triple-double, man, that was special.
He was amazing. It's like he can do it all, score, pass, rebound, defend. It'll be interesting to see how he gets better and if he can lead the Pistons to, a new era of winning.
Me too. He's definitely someone to keep an eye on. And watching him play last night, it got me thinking, what if, and this is just a thought, what if these young guys, these Cades and Ja Morants, what if they're changing the game right in front of us?
Whoa, you really think so?
We talk about team identity, systems, all that, but what if the new way to win, what if it's all about individual brilliance?
So are you saying, are we in a new era where just raw talent. Is that all it takes? I mean, we've seen it before with guys like LeBron, Jordan, but it feels different this time.
It does, right? Maybe it's the way these guys play, their creativity. They're not afraid of anything. They're not just playing the game, they're changing it. And it's making teams adapt.
So is the old way, like defense and all that, is that going out the window?
No, no, I wouldn't say that. Defense will always be important, but the way teams play defense, that's changing. You can't just do the same old stuff anymore. You got to be able to guard different positions, switch quickly, and keep up with these super athletic, multi-talented players.
So it's like a whole new game of chess, right? Coaches trying to outsmart each other, figuring out how to stop these explosive offenses.
Exactly. And it makes the game so much more exciting. Every night you see something new, something incredible, something you've never seen before.
It's like we're watching basketball evolve right here, right now. And it's not just the young guys, right? We see veterans like Chris Paul, Kyle Lowry, they're changing their games too to keep up.
Absolutely. The best players, young or old, it doesn't matter. They're always learning, always getting better, always trying to stay one step ahead.
Okay, so what does this all mean for the future of the NBA? What should we be looking for as the season goes on?
Well, I think one thing is for sure. We're going to see more teams with a real chance to win. The difference between the top teams and the bottom teams, it's not as big anymore. Any team on any given night, they can win.
So are you saying, like, the playoffs are going to be like anyone's game? Anyone could win it all?
I wouldn't be surprised. The teams that win, it'll be the ones that can adjust, come up with new ideas, and use their players' talents in the best way possible.
Man, this whole conversation has been really eye-opening. We've gone way beyond just the scores and stats. We've really looked at what makes this game tick. Team identity, individual brilliance, new strategies, the unpredictable nature of it all. It's made me see basketball in a whole new light.
Me too, yeah. And it makes you realize there's always something new to learn, something new to discover. Every game, it's like a story, and it's up to us to figure out what it all means.
And for everyone listening, here's something to think about as you watch the rest of the season. Are we watching a whole new era of basketball? Is the game changing right before our eyes? And if so, who are the ones leading the way? The answers are out there, just waiting to be found. So keep watching, keep thinking, keep diving deep. Until next time.